Christa Winslow was an author and sculptor who, in 1930, wrote the play Gestern und Heute, Yesterday and Today, about a girl falling in love with her teacher at an all-girls boarding school. She wrote this while living in the Weimar Republic of Germany, which was a generally more liberal era than before and especially afterwards. The success of that play led her in 1931 to be the screenwriter for the film adaptation of that play, called Mädchen In Uniform. Her Tio, who played the main character Manuela in the play version, also came on as the main character at the request of Winslow. The film would be remade twice, once in Mexico in 1951 and again in Germany in 1958. The two remakes are mostly similar to the 1931 version, with the Mexican version of 1951 taking the most liberties. The film featured an all-female cast and was one of the first films to use sound. At the 1932 Venice Film Festival, it won the audience referendum for Best Technical Perfection. It also received the Japanese Kinema Junpo Award for Best Foreign Language Film in Tokyo in 1934. As the Nazis gained power in Germany through the 1930s, the ending of the film was changed to appease them, although that also later on became declared decadent and the film was banned. We're introduced to Manuela, a young girl arriving at a boarding school after her mother passes away and her aunt drops her off there because she thinks Manuela needs straightening out. She gets a little bit of the lay of the land and runs into Fraulein Bernberg. Bernberg helps Manuela keep up appearances and tries to help her settle into the school. We learn that over the years, many previous girls at the school also fancied Bernberg, although the details of that aren't quite explained. One night when the teacher goes around tucking the girls into bed, part of the routine is to kiss the girls goodnight. And when she kisses Manuela, Manuela's infatuation with this teacher begins. As the story progresses, the teacher gives Manuela attention and some of her old clothes, which also accelerates Manuela's infatuation with her. As the school year goes on, Manuela gets comfortable with her classmates, starts making friends, and we learn that the school is as harsh as we think it is. Towards the end of the year, the girls put on a school play, with Manuela playing a male character. At the after party, Manuela, who's still in costume and unintentionally drunk now, proclaims to the other girls her love of her teacher. The girls are shocked, bewildered, and the headmistress overhears. As punishment, the headmistress basically quarantines Manuela from the other girls. They're forbidden from talking to her, and she's forbidden from talking with them and hanging out with her teacher. Manuela's teacher, on the other hand, tries to give a perspective of what the headmistress calls a sin isn't really a sin, it's more in the great spirit of love. When Manuela learns that her teacher is forbidden from talking with her, she spirals into a severe depression and she climbs to the top of the stairwell. She climbs over the railing and is basically ready to jump to her death. Manuela is saved by her classmates, persuading her and pulling her back over the railing. Comparing the 1931 original film with the 1951 Mexican and 1958 German remake shows similarities and differences as expected of any remake. In terms of the school, it's shown to be a place of extreme conformity, with Manuela being an outsider. Where the school differs is in the 1951 Mexican version. The school is a lot more overtly religious, with the teachers and headmistress being nuns and a mother superior. When it comes to the moment in the story when the teacher tucks the girls in for bed at night, in the 1931 version, the teacher kisses Manuela directly on the mouth. In the 1951 and 1958 versions, instead only choosing to kiss Manuela on the forehead. Although slightly different, they do portray in this moment the teacher giving preferential treatment and extra care towards Manuela. As Manuela's love for her teacher also grows through the story, the portrayals of that are also a little different. In the German versions, the teacher gives Manuela an old pair of clothes, I think it's a petticoat, and gives her extra attention outside of the classroom to help her learn and give her care. In the Mexican version, it's a little more classroom oriented. We see the teacher helping Manuela learn how to write and read in the classroom, and we see Manuela writing the teacher's name over and over again in her notebook. and then later on in the film showing up to kind of wait for her teacher in the dark in her office. In the scene where Manuela portrays her love for her teacher, all three versions actually kind of portray it very similarly. Manuela is drunk, she's in front of all the girls after the play, and she just kind of lets it out. The girls are all shocked. They're like, oh my gosh, you're in love with the teacher. And the headmistress overhears and basically like punishes her on the spot. After that, the films also develop pretty similarly. Manuela is taken to the infirmary for being too drunk to handle herself and is told that she is forbidden from talking with the other girls, and the girls are also forbidden from talking with her. She is ostracized in this moment, and her interactions with her teacher are severely restricted or forbidden. In the Mexican version, the headmistress basically tells Manuela that her sin is worse than one of her classmates, Claudia's, who has gotten pregnant. In the 1958 version, there's talk of curing Manuela. At the end of the film, when Manuela is severely depressed, she climbs to the top of the stairwell in the 1931 and 1958 versions. In those versions, her fellow students physically also pull her back over the edge and save her. However, in the 1951 version, the Mexican version, she climbs to the top of the bell tower and she does actually jump off and kill herself. The one reason why the Mexican version portrayed this ending very differently than the two German versions, the reason that I can think of has to do with how overtly religious this version of the film is. Being a queer person trying to find yourself in such a strict and religious environment would probably drive a lot of people to suicide, especially after being found out and ostracized in such a public and humiliating way. Krista Winslow's story was groundbreaking for showing sapphic love, but also for showing childhood crushes and how being in a strict religious environment could negatively affect someone's budding queerness, and showing the harms that ostracization and punishment does to someone who is just trying to explore themselves. All three versions of this film are free to watch on queerframearchive.org. Go watch them, enjoy them, study them, enjoy some queer film history. Thanks for watching.